What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Nash, and in this video I'm going to be going over why the finance assistant position is one of the best part-time and entry-level job for finance majors, right? So you might be doing this trying to get into finance, or you might be doing this trying to gain some work experience in finance. This is going to help you to do that. And the educational requirements to get into this is a high school degree, right? And sometimes it's probably an associate's degree, which is a 2-year college degree. So that's for people that are trying to gain work experience while they get their bachelor's degree. Or if you just want to work in finance, you can start off as a finance assistant. Now, I want to cover a couple of things as to why this is the best. The first one is going to be you get to network. Now, if you are working with as a finance assistant, you are assisting someone who is, in the finance department, right? It could be the finance department, the operations department, and you are assisting that person. And the person might be the director of finance, the VP of finance, manager of finance. So you are assisting someone who is way up there on the corporate ladder, right? And this can allow you to build a connection with that person, right? And when you need when there's a job opening, you might be able to get a recommendation from that person, and most importantly, you get to learn from that person, right? So they could be your mentor without them even knowing, right? So you can learn from what they do, how they communicate, some of the things that they do, and and you're gonna have your hands in a lot of things when it comes to what you actually do. It's essentially an administrative job, right, where you're supporting someone who's doing the actual work, right? So you get all the work that people don't want to do in finance, right? So essentially, what this entire job is being an admin so essentially, what this job is an administrative support job to the finance team or the operations team. So that's what essentially it is. So you're gonna be dealing with things like maybe paying bills, processing invoices, or maybe mailing checks to customers. Or you can look at, for the most part, it's gonna be accounts receivables and payables, right? So receivables is when the company is receiving money. So maybe someone paid off an invoice, right? You might have to put that in QuickBooks, or payables. Maybe you have to pay the bill to, maybe the electricity bill for the building or things like that, right? Those are payables. So you're gonna be able to manage a lot of those things, and it might be a little bit of bookkeeping. So that's where kind of like your basic accounting knowledge. That's where your basic accounting knowledge is gonna help you, and also your basic finance knowledge is gonna help you. So if you understand the personal finance, this will be really easy. If you understand basic accounting, the job is going to be easy for you, right? So basic accounting, you just need to understand receivables and payables. Those are some of the basic accounting concepts that you need to understand, and those are going to help you. Now, you can learn this online, or you can even learn on the job. So you're not required to have prior experience to being a financial assistant. Some jobs might say, oh, you need to have worked in an administrative role, right? And that might be what they require. But most companies only require a high school degree because this position is different for every company, right? One, you might be working for this director and he requires you to maybe just process the invoices, right? And you might be working for a different director and they might require you to maybe do the bookkeeping, right? Recording the receivables and payables, or you might just be filling paperwork, right? If it's a company that has a lot of paperwork that's required, that's repetitive, they might give that to you, or maybe it's just data entry. So it's different for every company. So there's never gonna be, you need to have prior work experience or things like that. If anything, they might say you need to have worked in an administrative role where you are supporting a team, maybe in finance, operations, accounting. Doesn't really matter. You just need that experience. So those jobs just require you to have a high school degree or an associate's degree. So like I said, it might be as simple as filling out paperwork. It might be as simple as organizing files if it's a company that does not believe in using computers and they have these cabinets full of files. You have to organize them and look for files and things like that. So it could be as simple as that. But for the most part, it is going to be whatever is assigned to you by the person that you are supporting, or the person that you report to. Sometimes it might be go get a coffee, right? It's as simple as that. But the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is building relationships and connections with the people that you are helping. For the most part, if you are helping someone to do things that they don't want to do, right? Let's say I'm a financial analyst and I have to go back to look at some paperwork from years ago. I'm trying to do projections, right? And the company that I work for does not believe in using computers, so they have the actual paperwork. I can ask someone who's a financial assistant to find that paperwork for me or to organize the files for me. So this is going to allow you to build connections that you can use later on. Maybe you apply for another position that opens within the company. They're going to be more than happy to recommend you because they know your work ethic and your ability to work with the team. Now, the other side of that is learning from the people that are around you. If you're a finance assistant, you're probably working in the finance department, accounting, operations. Learn from the people that are around you, right? If you see a financial analyst, kind of like ask them what they do and, kind of like get insights. It's kind of like a free internship, right? But you get to talk to a lot of people in different positions, and that can even help you decide what you want to do after that. Because what you don't want to do is work as a finance assistant for 5, 10 years. You don't want to do that. All right. So you kind of like get to look at the different aspects of finance of that department and look for things that you like. All right. So when it comes to some of the basics that are needed to work as a finance assistant, like I said before, most of the time you're going to need a high school degree, right? High school degree. And some companies, they're going to require that you have an associate's degree. When it comes to work experience, most companies do not require any of that. They just require that you have a high school degree or an associate's degree. And for some of the things that aren't really required, but these are things that you can learn on your own to help you do your job. So these include understanding basic accounting, like I said, receivables and payables, and then understanding basic finance, essentially personal finance. And you also have general things like, paying strong attention to detail. You also have things like, being able to communicate, because I think communication is one of the biggest things, because if you're working as an assistant, you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to communicate. Maybe somebody, they ask you to do research or something, you have to be able to communicate that to them. Or if they ask you to do something and you don't fully understand, you have to be able to ask questions, right? Or if you do something but they don't fully understand what you did or how you're going to do it, you have to be able to explain that. So communication is big, and you have to be a team player, because you're not going to be working independently. Since you are assisting someone, you're always going to be able to communicate with them and be able to work as a team. So you need those skills. And also you need basic Microsoft Excel skills. Sometimes, you're going to be doing a lot of data entry, maybe in Microsoft Excel, or basic things in Microsoft Excel, creating tables and things like that. You have to be able to know how to use just the basics of Microsoft Excel. You might not even have to understand the pivot tables and things like that, just the basics. Now, you can be a step ahead by learning some of the advanced things in Microsoft Excel, knowing how to create pivot tables, knowing how to do VLOOKUPs. That is going to be a great skill to have. And all those skills, if you have those skills that allow you to, do your job better, that allow you to work faster, those are things that someone who you're working for is going to notice. You're going to make their job easier. And eventually, if you go to a different company for a different position, it's going to be a lot easier to ask for a recommendation, right? Or maybe you want to work within the same company, a position opens, it's going to be a lot easier to get support from someone who knows your work ethic. It's going to be a lot easier. But that is pretty much it when it comes to the finance assistant position. And the cool thing is that you get to make money while you're doing this, and you're also getting a lot of work experience, and you're also making connections with people in finance, which might be helpful to you in the future. All right, so that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.